In the cosmos of Honkai Star Rail, we have beings that ascend into gods that rule over the things that we call paths. Congregations of imaginary energy that courses through the universe that for some reason represents a concept. And these Aeons having unrivaled and unchecked power tends to have a large impact on the universe, to say the very least. Some cause wars, with backlash still affecting worlds today, and others seek to destroy the universe and ascended because of the wars that other Aeons start. Yes, Aeons ascending to start wars because a now inactive Aeon started a war is the reason why our final boss exists. But some Aeons are non-violent, and it is in fact their followers that nearly end all life in the universe. And then there are the Aeons that, well, we don't really know what they do. They could be doing everything or nothing. And ever since the latest Fooly lore nuke, these two Aeons have replaced them as the most mysterious in the cosmos. And that would be Long and Mythus. And as the 5th installment of this series, you know for a fact that it is my mission to get to the bottom of the dragon and oblivion. Because this is Honkai Star Rail Aeon Ascensions Explained. Okay, so it has been a while since we've added to the series, so just in case you forgot or are new, this is how this series works. In every single video, I go in alphabetical order to talk about how the Aeon ascended, what they do, how they interact with other Aeons, and what this means for the universe as a whole. And today, Long and Mythus are our subjects. So let's talk about the Dragon Aeon, progenitor of all dragons and creator of the Scions of Permanence, Long. The Aeon whose name in Chinese literally just means the word dragon. So quite fittingly, they are a type of snake-like flying dragon often found in Chinese art. Assuming that this is what they look like, of course. And this Aeon is one that many believe to have died long ago, but looking at how the Vidyadhar work, they most likely returned to an egg in some way. So if we are looking at their ascension, it's not stated how they ascended, but from what we can glean from the Scions Long created, it's a chicken and the egg situation. What came first, the dragon egg or the dragon? But to get serious, in the period of time Long was active, they were known for searching for the meaning of life. Not to be confused with the prime mover of life. That is where life comes from, not the meaning behind it. So Long was pondering this question as old as time itself when they reached an answer. And this answer satisfied them and is now called the revelation of the Permanence. But just like how most people in the Genius Society, Long never shared their discovery with anyone. They just made their scions and then vanished, leaving some to say their revelation was the timeless nature of one's own greatness or the continuance of bloodline. Or my hypothesis being the natural human desire to leave something behind that will exist long after he or she is gone. After all, it is the largest structures that stand the test of time and become the wonders of the modern world. That to me is what true permanence is. And that is no tangent either, because there is a little bit of a subjectiveness to this path. But in truth, talking about this Aeon is strange because we have no known interactions with other Aeons, no definitive way that permanence works, and not even so much as a feat other than creating progeny. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to skip Long. I'm just kidding. Who would I be if I did that, right? Because Long's lore isn't vertical. What? It's horizontal. And what I mean by that is that Long doesn't have much lore in Honkai Star Rail, yet they have a presence across 3 different Hoyoverse games. Let me explain. You see, what little we know about the Permanence followers is that they are dragon people with a natural aptitude for controlling elements, whether it's earth, wind, fire, ice, or water. There is a dragon for that. And through Dan Heng, we have learned that Long Scions aren't locked to just one. And this means a lot because we can at least infer here that Permanence power is elemental in nature, which is good because no other path really involves elements as a key feature. But Permanence takes it and runs with it, which means that an elemental dragon is the calling card of Long. And while that may sound obvious, well, here's where we gotta talk about the other games. Because AHA isn't the only Aeon that has access to other universes in the Hoyoverse. Because there is one in Honkai Impact 3rd by the name of Narhalab. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Narhalab? Nahralab? I don't know. And while she may not be a Vidyadhara, she reincarnates like one by losing her memories and returning to an egg upon death that hatches into a new baby dragon. Yes, just like a Vidyadhara, she never truly dies of natural causes. She lives for an absurd amount of time and then returns to an egg. But that's not all, because she also had her own long permanence dilemma, meaning that she was also searching for the meaning of life and permanence, in which she initially thought was preserving things forever, but then she changed her viewpoint to inheritance. The meaning of life that she settled on was to pass things on to the next generation, because that creates a legacy that is truly permanent, which is cute because she then preserved a message to tell this to her baby next self. So yes, it is canon that Long's influence has reached other branches of the imaginary tree. But I would argue that that's not even it, because in Genshin there just happens to be a dragon race that had technology that was far superior to the stuff we have in Teyvat today, and the only ones that are really left of them are the dragon sovereigns, reincarnating elemental dragon people. So while Long's name is never spoken, we kinda just know what happened here. Long's reach is long, and that's just about everything we know about the Permanence. For real this time. So here is the part of the video where we have to address the jellyfish in the room. You know him, I know him, Evernight follows him, Mythus, the Enigmata. Yes, the exceedingly popular, all but confirmed mirror side of Fu Li, the Aeon that absolutely no one understands. And I have talked about this Aeon's origins a lot, so I'll just do a quick rundown. Mythus ascended from Fu Li and has a generational beef with the concept of certainty. So naturally, the Enigmata is the natural enemy of the erudition, because instead of answering questions, the Enigmata just aims to create more. Why? Because Mythus does not believe that humans can comprehend the vastness of the cosmos. And to quote the database, it is a fallacy that all things can be experienced and recognized. So I guess you can see why this Aeon hates that Nous exists to quite literally experience and recognize all things. This sense of certainty makes Mythus sick. So for example, if a certain handsome theorist makes a theory and presents it with the certainty of a fact, and the person finds fault with this confidence, saying that the theorist is trying to mislead people, know that the Enigmata follower is not the theorist. The Enigmata follower is the person enraged by certainty. That is the one thing that countless people in this community do not understand about Mythus. Mythus doesn't necessarily lie, they instead purposefully make the truth harder to find. And this is denoted by a lore enthusiast's worst nightmare, the history fictionologists, which are in fact the emanators of the Enigmata. And as their name suggests, the sole goal of this faction of emanators is to destroy history. Why? Because similar to Remembrance followers, they believe that the past determines the future. So if they ruin all historical records, the possibilities of said civilization becomes endless. So it appears that the saying, if you don't know your history, you are doomed to repeat it, is a foreign concept to them. In fact, it is the exact opposite of what they think. And just like the Genius Society, they do all of this out of altruism. They truly believe that they are doing the universe a service by erasing historical records. And now that we understand how Fu Li works and that the universe is recreated through memories and probably has been done millions of times, it is possible that at the very least we can see where they're coming from. Let me explain. Because if you mess with the history of a planet, there is a slim possibility that you can change its fate in the future. Let me explain further. If a history fictionologist came across, say, Adlavun, and rewrote its history saying that the swarm never attacked and Rupert's war never reached it, does this mean that Nanook won't exist when the universe is reset by Fu Li? Is it possible to fool Fu Li? Probably not with big things like that, but that's just an extreme example. But for smaller worlds and lesser known planets, I gotta admit that that is a fascinating possibility. Because what Fu Li recreates the universe with is memories, and record keeping is just another form of collecting memories, just like March taking photos or Cyrene writing stories. So in this strange, ambitious way, I can at the very least comprehend the thought process of the history fictionologists, and by proxy, Mythus. This path is way more complicated than haha funny misinformation, right? Just like how Evernight was aiming to delete everything from the cycles, allowing March and her companions to escape, the Enigmata's goal is to change history for the better and have that reflect on the next cycle's future after Fu Li resets everything, which explains why Mythus hates certainty. Because the moment Nous is certain of the future and stops calculating, we know the universe's end is imminent and unavoidable. That is the certainty that Mythus doesn't like. the certainty of assured destruction. Which explains exactly why Mythus attempted to stop the instant of Rupert's downfall. Because every single one of Noos's instants are a checkpoint on the road to universal destruction. So Mythus definitely chose a bad instant to try to stop, but if they can manage to stop just one of Noos's instants from occurring, they know for a fact that they can force the world to deviate from its down spiral into destruction. That is the goal of Mythus. Change the past, change the future, save the universe. And every time they fail, Fully just resets everything. Because Amphorius is a microcosm of the cosmos. The most telling voice line in the entire story. Because it reveals that the world itself, the universe itself, is in a cycle. All resetted by Fully over and over and over again. And Evernight acted just like Mythus in the Amphorius story too. She changed the cycles from people following Kephales's prophecy to following Orynyx's prophecy, all in an effort to help us change the fate of Amphorius. Which not only corroborates my world-bearing Trailblaze theory in the previous video, but also my twin Aeons theory where Evernight ascends to become Mythus and March ascends to become Fully. It's all coming together like Cyrene's puzzle pieces, which is all quite romantic, don't you think? So Mythus is a misunderstood Aeon that is trying to save the cosmos in their own unique way. By messing with history, they can reshape the memories that Fully recreates the world with, all in an attempt to stop Noos from discerning the exact way the universe will end. Because the instants are checkpoints and certainty is the fail state. Mythus acted just like Evernight. In a strange radical way, they tried to save everyone from their fate of repetition. Does it work? I couldn't tell ya, but as I always say, you can know more about an Aeon by looking at their emanators, and the word altruism says it all. Mythus isn't trying to hurt anyone, they are trying to save the universe in a very rough way, just like Evernight. Because this is Honkai Star Rail and Ascensions Explained. You know, this video went way harder than I expected it to. Don't let the holidays fool you, I've got my own cooking for you guys. And there is more to come, because next we got Nanook and Noos to talk about. And post-Amphorius, this combo's a bit awkward, isn't it? But nevertheless, we have got to talk about both and dive into their secrets as well. Because every Aeon's got their secrets and mysteries, and you know I'm gonna do my best to talk about every single one of them. What do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.